Good morning. I am glad to be with all of you. I am Laura Belcher. I'm the president and CEO of Habitat for the Charlotte region, and welcome to our online chat today. In normal times, or if you looked at my calendar, what I had expected to do today would have been final preparations for our 5th annual Blue Jean Bash Gala that was scheduled for tomorrow night. We've had to postpone that, and I was sad about that, and so I decided to dress for the video call anyway. So I have my gala outfit on, I have my blue jeans, my bling, and wanted to get dressed up to be with you today. But unfortunately, these are not exactly normal times, are they? And while we can't congregate together, we can congregate virtually or digitally, I guess, as we would say. And so that's what we wanted to do today. And we want to spend a few minutes together. I want to give you an update on what's going on with the affiliate. I want to talk to you about what we have done in response to current environment and what our plans are for the future. So this really is kicking off a new event for us. So this is Hola, Habitat Online, Learn and Ask. This will be a new monthly series for us on the first Friday of every month. And we'll have different presenters and different speakers, but it's a way for us to really continue to engage with those that are so important to us, our constituency, our donors, our volunteers, our families and homeowners, all of you that means so much to us. So while we can't be together, we want to try and share information and that kind of thing. So we'll do online events like this, kind of a town hall format. We'll have presenters. They might talk about things about operation or strategy, maybe staff experiences. So just trying to share different information with you, and we'll do it in a way that that you can ask questions, right? So that's part of the goal here through the chat feature, and we'll be using that later on this morning. So you can type in your questions, and I'll do my best to respond to them in a little while. So what we're going to do this morning is I'm going to, walk through some affiliate activities. I'm going to share the evolving plans we've got to resume operations. I want to share a video with you of one of our Habitat homeowner families, and then we'll get into the Q&A. All right, so that gives you a little bit of a sense of what we're going to do together. Now, before I get into all of the COVID-19 response, I do want to take just a minute and acknowledge and remind folks that it wasn't that long ago that we officially came together as a merger between two affiliates, Habitat Charlotte and the Our Towns affiliate. And so for some, that feels like that was a world ago because it was right before the pandemic started. So the merger became official on March 1st, and we set out to start combining operations and aligning staff and things like that. And then everything kind of pivoted and the world changed, right? But I'm proud of the team. And so despite some of the distractions, we are still working on the merger, right? And we are aligning all of our operations, and we're working on technology projects, and we're making good progress on that. But we have been distracted by current events. And that's really what we're here to talk more about today. So let me do that. So I'm going to start first with some of the harder stuff, the difficult decisions that we had to make, the actions that we've taken, and the consequences that came with those actions. So I want to share some of that, but then I'm going to turn quickly to some of the things that have come out of that, maybe the silver lining to some of our changes and pivots, right? So to start, you all know that that in mid-March there were stay-at-home orders as the virus started to spread, and we wanted to honor those, and so we moved quickly to close all 7 of our restores in mid-March, and they have continued to stay closed for the last 2 months. In doing so, we also had to make the hard decision to do some temporary layoffs of our retail associates while the stores were closed. It is our hope and our intention to bring associates back as we can resume normal operations. And in fact, we'll be bringing some folks back next week. So we're excited about that. I'll give you more about that in just a minute. We also paused all of our volunteer activities in respect for safety of all of our key volunteers and everything else like that, we put all of that on a pause so that we could focus on what we needed to and people could stay home. We also addressed our critical home repair program, which is really an important program that goes into the homes of families that need repairs on substandard living conditions. The majority of the folks that we work with in that program are seniors and are considered the most vulnerable during this time. And so we put a pause on that program so that we could really reevaluate how to do it safely, and when we could start up. As I've already mentioned, we canceled events like the Blue Jean Bash and other gatherings, small and large. Again, we canceled some, we've postponed some, and some we've brought online like today. And so we're really trying to make the moves that we need to stay connected. All of these things have resulted in some financial impact. To be quite candid, we are losing about $200,000 a month in our net income from the retail operations by having 7 closed stores. Our loss of volunteers impacts our construction costs. We are forecasting about a $200,000 a month reduction in charitable giving due to the redirection of resources and to the canceling of the Blue Jean Bash. And we had a fundraising breakfast that had been scheduled for April that we had to postpone. And we've also seen a disruption in mortgage payments from our families. They are experiencing hardships of their own. And this month alone, we had about $70,000 in mortgage income that we did not receive. And we anticipate that amount is actually going to grow monthly over the summer and into the fall as families are trying to adjust to changing economic situations. So that's a lot to absorb, and some of the negative aspects of what we've had to do. But I'm really proud of how the Habitat Charlotte Region team has come together in these difficult times, how they have focused their energy and their creativity to really advance our mission and to stay true to our cause. And the biggest evidence of this is the collective efforts that it has taken to move 9 families into their housing, into permanent Habitat housing since the start of the pandemic. Families like Shakina and her son Cam. Cam was so excited to get his own bedroom when he got into his home. That's something that we probably during stay-at-home orders take for granted, that we have bedrooms and extra space to move around, and not every family in this community does. And so getting those 9 families into housing was really a great feat and a real testament to the fortitude of our staff. Now, our ability to move folks into their homes is really due to the hard work of our Habitat construction staff. They've been building homes throughout this. We've implemented strict safety guidelines. They're working in small teams. But the stay-at-home orders recognize that while we have a health crisis, we still have an affordable housing crisis as well. And that residential construction is an essential business. And we have been able to advance our mission by working together. Now, while the construction team has been on site, the office team has pivoted, and I'd say really quite successfully on a very short timeline, to a teleworking, working at home model. And we've been able to leverage our investments in technology. We've been creative with video conferencing and chatting. We've gone online with some of our financial literacy classes and things like that. So we're really trying to work from home as effectively as possible. Our family services team has been great, reaching out to families, responding to calls and concerns about their health and their financial fortitude. And the family services team is done a lot to connect our families to the other resources in town that they need to be able to thrive through this crisis. I'm also thankful for the work that the fundraising team has done, right? So they have worked closely with our donors, many who have stepped up and done amazing things. We've had individuals that have advanced gifts and made financial commitments to us sooner than they had originally planned to. We've had corporate donors that have removed restrictions on how we use their funds and given us great flexibility to respond to the current environment. We've also are grateful that we have received some emergency COVID-19 funding from the United Way and from other donors that is allowing us to fill a little bit of the gap created by the change in our operations. So that's a lot that has gone well at the same time that we are changing to our new environment. So what's next, right? We get a lot of questions on what we've done, but what does the future hold? And it's hard to predict the future, right? We're living in a very fluid environment, and we're trying our best to adapt and adapt quickly. But we have put together our Charlotte Region Emerging Strong Team, CREST for short. This is a cross-functional team representing all the departments in our affiliate of great staff leaders that are working together to identify how we move forward, how we emerge strong as we build back into the future. They have come out with their first set of recommendations for the month of May, and I want to share a couple of those with you, and then encourage you to stay tuned to the future as we continue to refine these plans. But one of the biggest announcements we've got is that we will be opening 2 of our restores on May 19th. So we are cautiously and with good care moving back to resume our retail operations. So the Wendover store and the Mooresville store will open on May 19th. We will have limited hours, so we'll be adjusting the hours to allow us to have good safety and cleaning and sanitation. And we will not be picking up any donations until later into May, maybe even early June, once we understand better the volume of shoppers and our inventory and those kinds of things. Also, be on the lookout for some online shopping opportunities that'll start later in May as well, where you could buy things online and then do curbside pickup. So new functionality that the team is working really hard on, and will be able to roll out later in May. We will also in late May resume our critical home repair. We'll do it really through late May and June on a partial basis, with the idea that we'll resume full critical home repair scheduling in July. The team has put a lot of effort into looking at the best way to do that, how to look at best practices, construction safety for our teams, for the families that we serve. But these houses and these families, they're living in substandard conditions, and we feel the call to get in there and help them and return their homes to a safe and stable place. Our fiscal year begins on July 1. And while we won't be back to normal July 1, we are hoping that we will have a little bit more regularity in our schedule. And so we will start inviting volunteers to re-engage with us in the new fiscal year on the work sites and in the restores. And we will be getting back to our offices more in July, and we'll be able to meet with and serve homeowners as we need to. Again, all with the right social distancing and safety procedures, and this time gives us that time to plan for that and do that well. So I invite you to stay engaged and stay informed and look for more announcements in the future on the specifics around when more restores will open and when volunteer engagement will start and those kinds of things. Now, while you can't volunteer right now, there are things that you can do to support Habitat Charlotte Region. You can help us build back and prepare us to emerge strong. So a couple of things. First of all, this was again to be the weekend of the Blue Jean Bash, our 5th anniversary. We're aiming to have 500 people in a room tomorrow to celebrate. And our lead sponsor, Ally Financial, has been a great supporter of ours for years, and they have creatively announced a support this weekend with a $10,000 matching grant for any gifts that are made today, online, right now, and through the weekend. And so we invite you to make a financial gift as much as you can, but as an added incentive, any gift over $50 will be entered into a drawing so that you could win a $250 Lowe's gift card, another one of our partners. So take advantage of the matching grant from Ally Financial and consider making a gift right now, whether it's a one-time gift or a multi-monthly recurring gift. Any support that you can give right now would be helpful as we adjust our operations. And there's other things that you can do to support the affiliate right now. You can gather your restore donations and keep them in a corner and bring them to us later in May when we open up. And don't forget your book donations, right? So Julia's Cafe and Books, they are online and they are selling books online. So we'll want those donations after May 19th as well. And so keep those book donations coming, but also go online. If you want something new to read while you're staying at home, please buy your books from Julia's online. We would appreciate that. I also would encourage you to sign up to make sure that you're staying informed about advocacy and the things that are important in the community right now. You can do that by following us on social media, by signing up for our newsletters on our website. But this crisis, this pandemic, has exposed a lot of inequities in our community and our society, and housing is one of the most critical ones. And so we want to invite you to stay informed and to lend your voice to advocacy for fair and adequate and affordable housing for all. So again, another thing that you can do to support us in this time while we were apart. But mostly our hope for you is that you are staying healthy and staying safe, and that while we were apart, we are actually together. Whether it's from Lake Norman to Pineville or Charlotte to Statesville, we are one affiliate, one service area, and we are working together. And by working together, we'll build back and we'll be able to serve more families. Families like LaTanya's. I want to share her video and her story with you now so you can get a sense of the folks that we are working with and partnering with.
I'm gonna be honest, just going through this process in the beginning has really changed my life. When I see these people, it gives me new life. To know that I'm just not the only one. During that rough spot, I was looking for a place to live because, of course, I'm renting. That's why I'm going through Habitat. So this home that I'm renting started becoming more and more expensive, especially for a single person. So I was told by a family member to check into Habitat. I've always heard about Habitat. However, I didn't think or know actually what they involved or what they were involved in. So I did apply. Just happened to go online. I was in dire straits. So I did. I went on and I did the online application, paid my fee, and never thought anything else about it. And just continued to move on with my process and say, you know what, I still have to get out this house because I can't really afford to stay here on my own. This journey has showed me that I got this and I could do this on my own. And Habitat has brought to me a newfound me. But it was my turn, and I'm great, and I'm really grateful to be going through this process. So you're gonna make me cry. So I'm very humble and grateful.
LaTanya's story is an inspiring one, and she's been great to work with and eager to get settled into her new home. And I'm glad we could share that story with you. In just a second here, we're going to open it up for some Q&A. And so I do really encourage you to make use of the chat functionality. You can go in and put in your questions, and I'll do what I can to answer them. So while you are typing up your questions and thinking about what more you would like to hear about from the affiliate, let me make a plug for our next OLA series, right? So our next Habitat Online Learn and Ask is going to be June 5th. So again, the first Friday of the month. And we'll be featuring Bob Glessenkamp, our new VP of Construction Operations, and Chris Barton, who is our Director of Land Acquisition and Development. And the two of them are going to talk a little bit about what our plans are for construction over the next year. We're going to be introducing some new products, a little bit of new program that we're doing with the city. And so you won't want to miss that. It'll give you a good opportunity to hear, like I said, from Bob, who's new to our team, but brings great experience and an opportunity to understand more of what the new fiscal year is going to bring for us as it relates to construction. So I'm joined today by Alex, who is going to serve as our facilitator and our moderator. So Alex, what questions are coming in the chat box, or what questions do you have?
First one, which I think is on top of everyone's mind, with the 2 restores reopening, will all the restores be able to take donations?
Yeah, good question. So the 2 stores that are going to open, just to be clear again, are Wendover and Mooresville. Those will be the only 2 stores that will be accepting donations at the when we open on May 19th. As soon as we start opening more stores, we'll be able to email and use social media to communicate that as the stores open. They'll be able to accept donations. But when we open, just those 2 can start taking donations. We'll start getting drivers on the road and start picking up donations probably later May or early June.
Do you know anything about Global
What else
Village?
do you got?
Oh, sorry. Do you know anything about Global Village and when they will restart doing trips?
Yeah, it's a good question. So as part of Habitat Charlotte region, we support international operations, and we've got longtime relationships in El Salvador, in Cambodia, and we had trips that were planned to those locations. All international Global Village trips through December 31st have been suspended right now. No international travel right now. That'll be revisited this fall, and we'll understand better kind of what the demand and logistics for international travel would look like. So stay tuned. Our commitment to those operations in those areas is still there, and we are in good constant communication with the folks that we work with in those countries. But for the time being right now, we are just not going to be able to go see them. Other questions? In the chat box.
Will Julia's also be reopening with the Wendover store?
Yeah, so real limited again, under current operations. There's no dine-in opportunity, so we'll have some limited order and carry out of coffees. But it'll be limited and no dining in store. So very limited operations until we can, again, we'll comply with the guidelines that the state is putting out on reopening restaurants and things of that sort. Good question.
Oh, now my scroll is going slow.
All right. I've got, I think I've got one that I can see. You want me to do
Go
one?
ahead.
There's a question around the ability to make financial donations that would help to offset delinquent mortgage payments and loan forgiveness. That is a really generous offer and is something that's really important. So yes, if you would like to make a financial contribution for the purpose of assisting families that are having financial hardship, we will be able to process that and work with that donation. We are working right now in partnership with the city. Some of our homeowners qualify for a city program to assist with mortgages that might be impaired due to COVID-related economic and health crises. But not all of our families qualify for the city program. And so we know that there's going to be a gap in that program that we're going to need to fill. And so anything that you are interested in doing and supporting that way, we would welcome and put to good use.
I have one for you. Will there be a link to online giving in this video?
So the link to online giving, if you there has been the link has been published. So I'm not sure if you scroll up or down in the chat box, you should see that link. So that is there. You are also welcome to go to habitatscharlotte.org and give directly onto our website. Absolutely, good question. I see there's been a question around the application process for homeowners and when that will reopen. We do not have a date right now to forecast on when we will be able to reopen the application process. We successfully moved to an online application in January for Habitat homeowners, future homeowners, and it was very successful. In fact, it was so successful that we have a large backlog of applications. Now our team is working hard to get through that backlog during this unusual time. And so when we are able to feel good about pulling that backlog down, then we will reopen again, and we'll announce a reopening publicly to future homeowners. But at the moment, I don't have a forecast or a date on that.
I have one. Will the restores be using volunteers when they reopen?
So when we open the stores, we will open them with staff only. And so we're opening the 2 stores, and we'll utilize only staff, no volunteers. And this is really to one, give us the ability to understand the volume and the demand and the new safety protocols, right? So we're installing a lot of things that other retailers have already done. If you go to a grocery store or a hardware store right now, we're encasing our cashiers. We're putting in markings on the floor every 6 feet so that people will social distance. We're rerouting the traffic flow of our aisles so that people only walk one way down certain aisles of furniture. So that's why we're only doing 2 stores, so that we can do this very intentionally and carefully. And so we'll just be using staff. We'll be inviting volunteers back probably with the start of the new fiscal year. We miss our volunteers desperately, and we want to get you back and get working with you, alongside with you. But we want to make sure that we have worked through all of the plans and the logistics and all of that. So we'll open just with staff, the same way that we are building on the construction sites right now, just with staff. Other questions, other thoughts? I appreciate everybody being here and logging in to listen to what's going on. Alex, anything else you see?
I'm not seeing anything pop up.
Okay. All right. Well, know that part of wanting to do this is to be able to engage. So if you do have questions that come to mind after we close out, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can find us online, on email, or send us a message through social media, whatever. We want to hear from you. We want to be connected in this time apart. So as we start to close out for today, I want to thank you again for being here. I want to thank Ally Financial for their generosity of being the lead sponsor for the Blue Jean Bash and making $10,000 available as a match. So if you are so inclined to make a gift today or throughout the weekend, it will be matched by Ally Financial. And I encourage you to think about whether or not you want to wear your blue jeans and your bling sometime this weekend, just in honor of the gala. And until we can meet again, stay safe, and thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.